It's a scorcher out here today. I thought I'd give you a quick shot of my backyard, part of it anyway. It's a scorcher out here. We planted quite a number of trees, and even though we have neighbors all the way around, it gives us a bit of a sanctuary in the back here, actually. So, anyway, turn the camera around. So, yeah, greetings, YouTube friends. It's a little different than sitting in the studio, but I thought I'd chime in again on a couple of mainly one thing I've been noodling on, and maybe a bit of an interesting story on my own development, how things are going. I just finished a brief fast, a 5-day water fast, and I had again an interesting experience, and I think I might have misinterpreted it partially, and I'm just gonna my what she calls herself muscle therapy, which is a kind of total understatement about her ability. The person that I've been seeing, who's I feel has helped me quite a bit in what I'm going through. She manipulates the frequencies and energies in the body. She can perceive things inside how the body feels to her. She has impressions. She's a gifted person, quite a firecracker, and very interesting for me to talk to, because there are insights and understandings that she brings to a conversation that I may not consider. And one of them was this: what happened to me on this particular water fast seemed somewhat difficult the first 3 days, more than usual for some reason. So, and the reason I did it is because I'm experiencing a peculiar development over the last 3 months, and that is like what the white coats call an edema, and my left leg is swollen. And Cindy, the lady that I am referring to, says that the left side of the body is an inner thing, something to do most likely with emotions and the sense of myself, something going on within me that is the conflicts that I carry on in myself that are affecting me. And her notion is that anything on the left side is more connected to the inner workings of a person rather than the right side, which indicates external sources, let's say the toxins that are building up or whatever. So anyway, this may make sense. I had another apparition. I was day 3, I think it was day 2 or day 3 of my fast, Tuesday maybe. I started Sunday and started eating yesterday on Friday. And I was lying in bed, and I wake up, and I feel an entity next to me, but with their back turned. And it's a very nebulous kind of feeling. And this entity, all of a sudden, I'm opening my eyes, this entity rises. And like I said, this happens all within maybe 5 seconds, 6, 7 seconds tops, whatever is transpiring. So this entity appears to rise, and I'm calling it an entity because it was a very loose sort of feeling from the back, in a hoodie, kind of flowing, greenish kind of feeling, like I'm looking into the backyard, the green out there, very pale, sort of avocado greenish kind of feeling entity, and it kind of floats and moves toward the window and leaves through the window, and I'm choked up. I can't say anything. I wake up. Of course, I'm disturbed again, because every time this happens, I get disturbed, and the thing moves away, and I'm choked up, and I'm trying to say something, and I'm stuck in my throat. Anyway, I thought it was another one of these fucktards bugging me, but Cindy's impression was that it was more likely somewhat to do with my heart center. Um, I don't know why she thought that right away. She felt it was had to do with my heart center based on the nature of the apparition, the color, and the non-frontal, not looking at the face kind of thing. I never saw any face, and it moved up, and the choking part of it, she said, well, could be that it was something that was exiting from me, and it choked my throat, and I couldn't talk. I was in silence. I tried to speak, and I couldn't. Even if I wanted to say something, I couldn't say loudly. So it was something, in her opinion, that was actually releasing from me. I like that. I like that. No, I like that because it's not like the usual fucktards that show up in my lately in my sort of sleep to wake state. So it's kind of interesting that maybe the fasting initiated a cleanse. It's a kind of part of the cleansing thing that's happening. Again, a speculation, but I like it. And this is one of the things I like about Cindy. She actually is able to interpret things. Again, there's a level of trust involved when somebody says something, and it may or may not be true, but I'm gonna go with it. I like it. It's like a cleansing of some sort of an emotional toxicity released. And interestingly, the swelling, the edema in my leg over the last, I would say, maybe 3-4 days during the fast has actually released somewhat. It's maybe 50% less. Anyway, for what it's worth, it's just something I'm going through, and may have significance, may not, but it certainly was an experience again. So, what I greetings? Did I say greetings, YouTube friends? Greetings, greetings. I'm not saying the other word because I don't want to. I don't want to deposit hell and O on anybody, so I'll say greetings for now. Um, the idea of learning, and I'm responding to Matt from Quantum of Conscience because he left a comment. I appreciate him checking in on me, and obviously I might have made an impression on him. He checked in on my video, and I in the last one, I think it was, I said that this realm offers no learning. I'm going to adjust that a little bit because he said, in his way, there's a sort of Matt has a kind of animated nature, and I take everything now with less attachment to if people are trying to unload some kind of emotion on me, or whether they're detached, or I try to stay back and not get too involved in what the comment feels like, if it's like an aggressive thing or what. I'm giving him the benefit because he's really clued into the way this existence appears to be fooling us and lying to us all the time. And he's not a truth seeker. He is a what is it, like a lie seeker. That's more likely because I don't think truth exists the way we think of it and the way we feel like, oh, we have a truth. Well, it's a moving target. Truth is a moving target as far as I'm concerned. So I prefer, if you're going to be, you're not a conspiracy person. You're a seeker. You flush out the lies, exposing the lies. That's what Matt's doing. He's for me, he's not a truth seeker. He can call himself anything he wants, but I say he's a falseness seeker. To identify that which is not true is much more accurate than saying this is truth, because we know what's wrong and what's false. It's so obvious now, and he explains it perfectly in so many of his videos. I love the way he dissects and ridicules and makes fun. I love this, how the bastards are just standing naked, these soft boners out there that are just exposed. I love that, the way he does that. So, yeah, the idea of learning. And I wanted to clarify because I said there is nothing we can learn in this realm. I still believe that, in the sense that the learning that happens isn't in the realm. It is aside, it's outside the realm. But, to get to the point of awareness, the way Matt is exposing the anomalies in our existence, is, you can call that an important learning. I should really adjust, but my reference to saying there's nothing to learn in this realm in that regard, the way Matt might have been expressing his insight into the nature of our existence, what I am understanding more and more, that the learning is happening from anything that comes from within, which is not of this world, of this realm. All right, this is the distinction I make. I am in the world, but not of this world idea. And this is the continuous exercise, if you want, which is, again, it's a nuance. Maybe I'm dancing on a pin here in terms of learning. Yes, all the things that Matt is expressing. And he says, I go over the same things over and over and over, and it's like old school news. The newbies that come need to be reminded. Yes, of course. And he understands that he's going over the same thing. But the stuff that he's exposing is a preamble to the learning. That's what I'm saying. And whatever a person would manifest regarding their awareness will not be how clear you are on how all things are lies. There is not a single truth about our existence as we perceive it. It is an illusion. It is created to keep us trapped. And in his last, I listened to his last videos in which he was expressing the idea about, what was it that I was going to say? Why did this escape? I'm trying to think of too many thoughts at the same time. He was talking about, I literally have a brain fart, and wanted to say, anyway, the learning part, okay, maybe it'll come back to me. The learning part of it is the point at which we connect something that is not in this world, but I'm not in this world, even though I'm of this world. And this is something that it's nuanced, maybe, if you're thinking about it, but the idea behind this learning is whatever comes from within is actually the learning part, because it is, as Makoski says, to figure out who we are not and lay bare. I like this expression, Kabbalistic expression, I am stripped of all the symbols that have disguised me, and to be laid bare in our true, what is our true nature, and that is to remove all the distractions that have placed themselves on top of us. No matter how wonderful we think they might be, they're distractions about our true nature. I really am cluing into this. I believe this to be true in terms of my own experience right now, how I'm feeling that my own path is becoming somewhat more clear in terms of who I am not. Again, expressing the falsehood of something rather than finding the truth. The truth isn't a big concern of mine, because it'll just appear, and I don't have to tell you. You will find it yourself. It's a truth is something we don't need to tell anybody. But again, if it's of significance, it's something that is within. So I think this is what I wanted to clarify, and to the extent also that I appreciate whatever Matt is able to produce on a daily basis, magnificent exposés, and I love the ridicule part, of course, because there's a kind of vindication and a satisfaction in exposing the bastards and making fun of them, which he does so well. So when he said, "Yeah, Tom, you're wrong. There's lots to learn here." Well, yeah, of course. You can spend eons and write volumes on how we've been tricked, and he knows this because he says it's a half a page, and you've got it. So yes, there's a degree of learning, but the big part of the learning is on the other end of it. That when we become committed to transforming ourselves in this learning from within, that is where the true learning is happening. This is how I'm perceiving it. And like my experience today with the apparition again, And I falsely identified, maybe, I'm not 100% about what Cindy said, that it was something that was actually a good aspect of my, I don't know, of my recognition. Something occurs in me and this thing exits, and it's a good thing. It's rather than me kind of fighting the evil archons around me. It's more of a within thing that's happening, which is, again, it triggered this. I wanted to make this video because here's my loud neighbor. My trees don't protect me from the noise. He's got a Harley and he's got a loud truck. Anyway, yeah, so this understanding today triggered this response I wanted to give to clarify about learning. I appreciate exposing the bastards the way Matt is doing, but the learning is an inner learning. And I think this is something that I don't think Matt is, I believe he's aware of that. Maybe it's a matter of words and communication, something I find much more clear and direct with the way McCoskey approaches this experience and his reflections. I think McCoskey is purely now, from what I can tell, focused on this inner transformation. And just as a side note, I had a call from a curious individual. I'm no longer interested in talking to him. He said he could help me, and his big message to me that I'm doing something wrong. Yeah, well, everybody's doing something wrong, I'm sure. And he wanted to convince me that this realm is actually a benefit to us by helping us learn. And I say, now I say, only to the extent that this realm allows me to find that inner voice, that cleansing of my inner self, like this apparition leaving me, that cleansing. This is the learning that I am finding to be most valuable. And it needs to be incorporated. Whatever it is that you say you have learned, that Matt says he has learned, it needs to be incorporated. And this fellow said he's read everything in the meaning of the universe and he knows everything from left to right. And that's wonderful. And I said, well, do a YouTube, expose yourself, express yourself on the web, and maybe people can have some benefit. I appreciate you contacting me, but telling me I'm doing something wrong. Well, tell me what it is, and I'll listen to it. And if I think it's true, I'll say, yeah, I'll change it. If I don't, I think it's garbage, I'll throw it out. And one of the other things that I think is very important, this is if you're listening, this is a message. It's not only in what you say, it's how you say it. That's always important. And if you've seen my videos about my work, my paintings, it's not so much the story that you see unfolding in front of you, but it's how I'm telling it that's also really important. And that's always connected to the materials and how I use my materials. There are overlaps here. There's things going on, again, in communication and words. It becomes complex in many ways for us, but to simplify it, the learning happens within, rather than from understanding anything that's going on around us. So I hope that helps, and I hope that clarifies some things, and I wish I could recover that brain fart, because it was a point that I was going to make about Matt's last video where he has James Earl Jones and Gates standing about the big lie. He exposes lies. He doesn't find truth for me, but I shouldn't say that either. He is not a truth finder for me. He's someone that exposes lies, which is very helpful. And that is an aspect of learning that I didn't consider, because I think the inner learning is the crucial part of it. The inner learning, that kind of recognition, like I say, my experience after 3 days of water fasting to have this apparition is part of the inner learning. It's not something I'm getting from the world out there. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'm trying this on my iPhone, so let's see if this works.